I travel a lot for work, mostly short consulting jobs that have me in new cities every other week. In early 2022, I took a 3-night contract in upstate New York. The company booked me an Airbnb, an older 2-story farmhouse that had been renovated into a cozy modern stay. It looked charming in the photos. White shutters, soft lighting, a clawfoot bathtub. The host, a woman named Erin, messaged me the check-in instructions. It said, "Lockbox is on the porch. Please sign the guest log inside the entryway." That part stuck out. A guest log? Most Airbnbs I'd stayed in just had the digital review system. When I arrived, it was already dark. The house sat on a long wooded road with no streetlights. Inside, it smelled faintly of lemon cleaner and old wood. The decor was rustic, with faded wallpaper and mismatched furniture that looked half thrifted, half inherited. On the small table by the door sat the guest log, a leather-bound notebook with a pen tied to it. The first entry was from January 2019. Guests had left typical notes like, "Lovely stay, so peaceful, loved the view, beautiful park nearby." Then, around 2021, the entries seemed to have changed. One said, "Strange noises upstairs at night. Thought it was the pipes, but it sounded like footsteps." Another read, "Woke up to a smell of cigarette smoke." No one smokes. The last one, dated a few months before my stay, simply said, "If you're reading this, don't stay in the blue room." And of course, I was staying in the blue room. I told myself it was just a prank. The house was old, it creaked. People like to spook themselves. Still, that first night I slept with the lamp on. At 2:43 a.m., my phone buzzed with a notification. Motion detected, front porch. The listing had mentioned a Ring camera, so I figured maybe it caught a raccoon. I opened the app, but there was no animal. It was a figure, a tall man standing still at the edge of the porch. He was turned slightly away from the camera. Then the feed glitched. But when it came back, he was gone. I barely slept after that. I thought to myself, what the hell was that about? The next day, I mentioned it to Erin over the Airbnb chat. She replied almost immediately, "Oh, that's odd. We haven't had any motion alerts lately. It has to be a tech glitch because the camera isn't even connected right now." It's been disconnected for almost 3 weeks. When I read her response, that stopped me cold. How is that possible? That night, I double-checked the locks, closed the curtains, and left a light on in every room. Then, around 3 a.m., I heard something. It was a dragging sound coming from above me, like someone pulling furniture across the floor in the attic. But there was no attic access in the blue room, just a small vent. But then I heard a whisper. Not words, just deep breath coming from the ceiling vent. My whole body locked up and I immediately ran to the front door, barefoot, heart hammering, and yanked it open. On the porch was the guest log, but I hadn't taken it out there. And it was opened up to a new page where someone wrote a large note in black ink that said, "Guess who's back?" That was it. I didn't know if it was a prank or not, but I wasn't sticking around to find out. I left that night, drove 2 hours to a hotel and didn't sleep until sunrise. Later, I looked up that property to give it a bad review, but it wasn't listed anymore. But what I found sent chills down my spine. I found a local news story from 2018. The Ring camera on the property had captured a man breaking into that Airbnb I stayed in. There was a female guest traveling alone, staying in the blue room at the time of the break-in, and she had vanished. They never found her body and she's still missing to this day.